Right, I'm here with Pete Castle. We've come to look at rods that have been voted the rods of 2008.
Well, this is the high S in the Free Spirit range, and as you say, it's been voted best rods by the Carp Talk readers. And this is a especially good award, I think, because we haven't advertised in this magazine, so the people that have voted for the rods in this section from this magazine, you know, they've voted it purely on that they think it's the best rod out there for carp fishing, you know.
A lot of effort goes into these rods, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They're not the cheapest rod on the market, but there's a lot of very good quality, you know, quality engineering that's gone into it.
So what sort of angler would the highest be suitable for?
Well, for all carp anglers really, because the range goes right from 2.5 pound test curve right the way through to the IS 200 for the extreme range as a spod rod. They're working on a marker rod at the minute, so for the high-S fans that have already got them, they'll be excited about that, and they're even thinking about doing some stalking rods and stuff like that as well to complement the full range.
So what distinguishes the highest from the rest of the range then?
Well, this is a top end in the Free Spirit range. What you sort of have to think about with sort of like high-end rods, I suppose, generally, and more specifically with the high-S, is the ratio of carbon and resin in the blank of a fishing rod. And it's got such a high carbon content, low resin blank. They're so durable, and what you buy one day, 3 or 4 years down the line, 10 years down the line, very, very similar, if not identical rod.
Cool, so what about the action of these ones then? How would you describe it?
They're a little bit tippy, I suppose. They're not a complete through action. I'd say the S range is more of a through action. The high S, they've sort of got a strong backbone, and yeah, definitely softer in the tip. I think as the blanks go, a lot of people are really surprised at how slim they are, you know, obviously they've got such a reputation for being so strong, but they are ultra slim, and I think that slimness tapering through to the tip sort of gives them that sort of more tippy action. Yeah.
So what different test curves are there?
Right, going from a 2.5 right the way through to the high S 200, which is sort of like a real stepped up carp rod really, you know, for out and out range. And then just below the 200 we've got the high S IF, and it works its way down to the 3.5, 3. The advantage of buying the Free Spirit rod as well, though, is that you can have them how you want them, you know. So they have because they're hand built in the UK, you can have them with cork handle, full Duplon handle, you know, the fixtures and fittings put on exactly where you want them. You can have your names put on them, and you know, people really do have all kind of like chevrons and different colour whippings and stuff like that put on.
I remember when we were out with Mark the other week, he was saying about the length between the handle and the end. You know, measuring that up to yourself is quite important.
Yeah.
When casting is concerned, as far as long range casting.
Long range casting, yeah.
So I suppose being able to get them made up how you want them, it's excellent.
Yeah, you've got the choice as well of 50mm, 40mm butt rings. When I first got on board a Free Spirit, it sounds funny this, but Simon, when we was talking in the warehouse, he was explaining that when you cast the rod, and you know, when you feel the lead down for the donk and that kind of thing and you're fishing, he said that the low resin content in the high S will actually transmit a lot more through the rod. And I was thinking, I'm on board, mate, you don't have to sell it to me, you know. It's like, yeah. But this is a God's honest truth, first day out with the rods, I cast the rod, and as I come over my head, I just caught a little twig that was sticking out of a branch, you know, and I thought I'd snap the rod. There was such a transmission through the rod.
Really?
I quickly reeled in and was checking it, thought I'd broken it first cast, you know, but it wasn't. It was just a transmission through the rod. It was so sensitive, and with the clone reel seat, that is adding to that sensitivity. It's transmitting through the rod, you know.
Right.
And you can feel it when you're playing the fish. You can feel every little turn the fish makes. And
when, you know, we all feel for a drop, don't we? And it tells you a lot, doesn't it, about where you're fishing.
Well, I think that's why I say as well, like they're going to do the marker rod and that. A lot of the high-S fans out there, you know, want that in their kit as well, because that's obviously going to transmit a little bit more. And I spoke to plenty of people on the bank, not just high-S consultants that have got the 200s, and you know, they've got no problem with playing fish in the margins. They're like, the 200s are their babies, and that they love them, you know. But there was a few people that sort of thought they could have, even Mark was saying he could have done with a slightly softer one, and that was where the high S have then come in. So it was like just sort of like slightly below, you know, a little bit softer and more forgiving in the tip.
But then a little bit more stepped up from the highest.
Yeah, the 3.5. Yeah, sort of something in between, you know.
Right, should we have a little closer look at one then, mate?
Yeah, let's have a look.
So this is the highest free, Pete.
Yeah.
Very nice bit of kit.
Did you hear that the world record went on the 3.5?
No, really?
Yeah.
What fish is that then?
Scarfish, yeah.
Oh yeah, Luke Moffat's one.
Yeah. Well, it was equalled at 91 something, yeah.
It's like a cow, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're good for dragging cows in.
Yeah.
Must admit, they are slim, aren't they?
Very slim. Let's give it a bit of abuse. You can really abuse these.
Remember, I'm only a weakling.
This is only a 3, yeah? But you can...
Plenty of power there, mate, isn't there?
If I just sort of hang on it a little bit,
Yeah, see if I can lift you off
over.
the ground, shall I?
I'm probably pulling on that. They won't go, but I'm a bit...
No, it's a really nice bend as well, isn't it? We've got a butt pad or something. All right, that'll do. I'm starting to get tired. Yeah, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's only the 3, but...
And it's got the 50
ultra
mil
slim
butt
and
rings on.
ultra light, you know. But you feel that sensitivity in the rod and that, you know.
Yeah, you can,
It's
can't
just
you?
transmitting everything all the time, you know.
Definitely.
So we're going to look at the high SF 12.
Yeah, I quite like the look of this one, mate.
This is the one that Joe fancies. He's got his eye on this. Let's give it a bit of abuse.
Let's have a bend.
Proper powerhouse, isn't it?
It is powerful, but you've, like you say,
Oh,
you've still got
the
that
action
fairly
and that
forgiving
there.
tip, haven't you?
A lot of the anglers love these for the Magaliner bags and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I bet you could seriously wang a lead with one of them.
Yeah. You like that one then?
I like them all, mate, to be honest with you. If I was a millionaire, which I might be this weekend if the old lottery comes in, I'll have one of everything.
So what about the actual light handle and stuff like that then? What would you go for?
Yeah, I mean, I do like this minimalist look with a bare blank. And the real seats look really smart as well.
Nice little isotope touch in there.
But I have always said that I've always wanted to try the old cork handles. I just like the look of them, they look
The
nice.
traditional finish and that,
feel nice. So I think the next set of rods I get, I am going to have the old cork handles. In fact, we've got one here, should we have a little look at that?
So you fancy the traditional cork one then, yeah?
I do, mate. I say I really like the look of it, but I've never had a set of rods with it on.
Yeah.
The other great thing I love about these Free Spirit rods is when we went out before, the fact you showed me that you could scratch them or burn them, and I'm a nightmare with my gear. I don't really look after it that well. Some of the rods do tend to get scratched up.
Well, this is what we call a durable blank finish, and basically there's no lacquer and varnish and that put on the rod. One thing to think about, I'm not going to go on and on about the price because they ain't the cheapest rod, as I said before, but what I have noticed with high S's is that because there's such a demand for them, and there is such a really high demand, you know, sometimes, you know, certain blanks they have to wait for a little bit, you know, to get the rods come in and that because the demand outweighs the supply. But I have noticed that even with that money, that it's a good investment for most people, because if you look for a pair of high S's second hand, they ain't cheap still, you know. People it's a good investment in the sense if they want to move on to a different rod, or, you know, a different size rod. When they're selling them, they're getting most of their money back, you know.
They hold their value because they hold their quality.
Yeah, and if they, you know, if the people that then go on and buy them want them different fixtures and fittings, they just have to send them back, and they strip them down, you know, back to the bare bank. And, you know, if it's just got full Duplo and they want full cork, we can put them on, put their name on it, and put a 50mm butt ring on as opposed to a 40, and there's a new rod out there, out the door, really.
Own set of rods how they want them.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed.